Great news! The Dacia Sandero mod has just dropped for BeamMP. This might be the biggest and most detailed real-world car mod you'll ever see. There's so much content to check out, so let's take it for a test drive. This is the Dacia Sandero. It's the latest creation by Fastlane and Kaito. It's a free mod with lots of configs and so much detail. This is the second generation Dacia Sandero. It was launched in 2012, and it shares a platform with lots of Renault vehicles, which we'll be checking out later because they're included in the pack as well. There's a lot of detail inside and out. The textures are really nice. Even in this base model, you can see the textures look great. We've got very clear gauges and a digital display down there. This base model is called the Access, and it has a 1.2 litre straight 4 petrol engine. The engine model looks really good, lots of detail in here. And this mod also comes with BeamMP's new lighting system. You can see the halogen bulbs have been rendered pretty realistically here. So let's take the Dacia Sandero for a spin. This must be one of the most highly anticipated mods for BeamMP. I've not known anything this anticipated in, well, my whole time making videos on BeamMP. And you can see why. It's just amazing quality and detail for a real-world car mod. Now, all of Fastlane and Kaito's mods drive really well, and this one is no different. We're driving in Italy with Agents, a realistic, simplified traffic mod to get that fully immersive real-world experience. And this 1.2 litre engine with 72 horsepower, it gives quite a lot of power. It's surprising. I mean, this is not a heavy car. It weighs about a ton in this base model, but then again, we have basically no equipment in this car. Whoa, come on, let's go, go, go. Oh, we're being we're being absolutely thrashed by a Seat. We're not going to spend much time driving the base model because there's so much content to check out. You won't believe how much there is. So let's go for a crash test. Okay, crash test into this metal barrier at about 50 miles per hour. Oh, yes. Quite a nice crumple on this crash model. As always, real-world car mods are never going to be the best, but this has been modeled quite closely to the way a Dacia Sandero crashes in real life, and I'd say for a real-world car mod, that's okay. Right then, how many configs does this mod have? Prepare for a shock. It's 1,355. It is unbelievable. I think we can safely say this is the biggest BeamMP mod ever created, at least a real-world car mod. Now, this has every single Dacia Sandero and the related Renault models that were ever produced anywhere in the world. So if you have a Dacia Sandero or any of the other cars like the Logan or the Stepway, it will be in this pack. So for example, this mod has several different body styles. This is the Logan, and you can see it's got a trunk at the back. It's basically just the Sandero with a trunk. This is the ambience model, and on the interior we have some more luxurious features such as a radio, and we also have central locking. This mod has some crazy interactivity. Look at this. We've got roll-down windows, which actually have an animated roller. You can open the glove box. You can put down the sun visors. They even have little mirrors in them. Look at that. We can put on these dome lights. The one there and one in the back. No, just one in the front. And look, the glove box even has a light in it. Oh my goodness. This is the first time I've seen this as well. This mod actually comes installed with wipers. We've got actually 3 speeds on here, and they make a noise. Oh yeah, and the Logan doesn't have this, but the normal hatchback has a rear wiper. Yay! If you press Alt and M on your keyboard, you can change the mode of the digital dashboard. So you've got temperature on there, miles per gallon 5.1, that's very bad. That's your trip, and then the real world time on your PC. This Logan has a 1.5 litre diesel engine, and it has a custom sound. Listen to this. That's a pretty realistic diesel sound. Now, this diesel engine has a turbocharger and a lot of grunt. This car really is, whoa, really fun to drive because you've not got the most powerful engines, but you can absolutely rev these engines and get all the performance they've got to give. And then when you push them into the corners, they really do respond. For the Brazilian market, the Dacia Sandero is rebranded as a Renault. Now, that's because Dacia, or I should be calling it Dacia, if I was to use the correct pronunciation for Romanian, Dacia are owned by Renault. That means the Dacia actually shares a lot of its components with Renault models, older Renault models, and that's how they keep the costs so low for these cars. And yes, it really is just called the Renault Sandero. They didn't do much to rebadge this car apart from literally putting a Renault badge on it. The interior in here is a bit more plush. We've got nicer seats and chrome door handles. We even have a GPS screen, and it looks like it's got Spotify integration on there. I guess it's like a Android Auto system. And then if I press this, you can see we've got a menu on here. I don't think we can interact with this, but that is really, really cool. If you're looking for any of these controls, by the way, they're up here at the top right. Now, if I lock the doors, can we actually open them from the outside? The front right door has been locked. Oh, this is amazing. It actually works. Now, we've got a bit more power here with this 1.6 litre petrol engine. And look at those gauges. They get more white the higher up you go. That is strange. Okay, let's take the Renault Sandero onto the highway. I want to see what this thing is like at high speed. So Dacia gained a lot of fame from Top Gear. James May made a lot of jokes about Dacia, you know, good news, great news, bad news, whatever, in the news segment of that program. But in the UK, this was, well, the Dacia Sandero was the cheapest new car you could buy for many, many years. And yeah, they have a reputation for making low-cost, but actually pretty decent cars. Driving this thing at high speed is pretty good. Very, very stable. I haven't even got the ESC on right now, and you can push it to quite an alarming angle and still recover from spinning out. Weirdly, this 1.6 litre petrol engine has almost no power higher up the rev range. I feel like the smaller engines were a bit better higher up the rev range, but you know, it's okay. It still drives pretty well. Let's go for a big crash into this camper van. Oh yeah. That was a cool crash right there. Okay. Crash model, yep, still holding up. Now, this is a very interesting config. Not only is it the Logan MCV, that's the estate variant or wagon variant of the Logan, but it is the Merry Christmas config. What this has is basically a sticker board of images showing you the development and progress of this mod. It's been in development for, I think, about a year. Started in January 2024. You can see all the different things were added to it. We've also got some Christmas lights on here. Can we turn those on? Oh my goodness, we can! Shift and N actually turns the Christmas lights on. That's crazy. And then on the hood here, 2nd of July 2024, the mod was featured on the Simulator Adventures channel. Yes, this is a little shout out for me, I guess, but I did mention this mod in like upcoming real-world car mods for BeamMng, and this is actually the first mod from that video that's actually released. So I think there were 10 of them, which is kind of crazy. And half a year later, this is the only one that's released. But anyway, we've got Romanian flags on the seats here. We've got a Romania pendant here, a cross. Yeah, I really like the interior in this thing. The engine in this thing produces 130 horsepower, which is quite a lot, and it drives really well. Despite being a wagon, you don't really feel that extra weight. These are quite light vehicles, and it has been great to see the development of this mod, and also the development of the Fastlane and Kaito modding team. I've checked out so many Fastlane mods over the years, and a couple from Kaito, and they just got better every single time. The last one was the Ford S-Max, remember? That had about 300 configs. We've got 1,000 more than that, and I thought that was huge. This mod also has a couple of Top Gear configs. So these are different Sanderos that have actually been featured in Top Gear. For example, this one here is an exact replica of the Dacia Sandero that James May took to Ukraine when they did that try to run out of fuel before you reach Chernobyl challenge. Oh yeah, one more thing about the interactivity. Of course, we do have opening doors and an opening trunk. Have you ever seen this though? An opening fuel filler flap. Wow. Interesting config here. This is the Renault Sandero GT-Line. It's a slightly sportier trim, and it has the 1.6 litre engine, but it has a CVT gearbox. Oh no. I really like the blue rimmed gauges here. They look great. Okay, does this car have a sport mode for the gearbox? It doesn't. It's just a normal CVT. What the hell? Okay, off we go. CVTs I've never really liked. They make that horrible whining noise, but what's this one like? We're locked at about 6,000 RPM. No, it's whining again, but it's not too loud, this engine. What are you doing? Nissan Micra, what are you doing? I think we've got slightly stiffer suspension, although you can't really tell. Actually, No, you can. We're handling really flat. And you can tell this car definitely has a sort of sporty aspect. It has potential to be quite a good hot hatch. But unfortunately, in Europe at least, whoa, we didn't even get a hot hatch variant. But stay tuned, because there is one included in the pack. The pack also includes some concept cars, including this electric Logan concept. We have 500 kilometers of range, wow, and a 61 horsepower electric motor. Fast charge in 20 minutes. I mean, it sounds quite good, but I don't think they ever put this into production. And it just drives like a normal electric car. Nothing too special about this, but you can see how much detail and effort they've put into this mod when all of the configs mean something. They're not just recolored and like debadged or whatever. They actually all mean something. They're all real Sanderos that have been produced in the real world. It's amazing, this pack. Now, I'm not entirely sure who these cars are made for, but Dacia do offer the Stepway for all their Sandero models. What this is, it has a raised ride height, slightly chunkier body kit for off-road driving. Now, Dacia do also offer the Duster, which actually has 4x4. This is just a front-wheel drive car, but the Stepway pack is available on basically every Dacia Sandero. We've got the Sandero here, the Logan, and the Logan MCV wagon. In fact, this model even has an LPG fuel tank. That's liquid petroleum gas. I don't know too much about LPG, but I am kind of a fan of it. I wish more people had adopted it in the UK, because it's kind of died out here. But anyway, you can get this with an LPG fuel tank. It doesn't really affect the performance too much. But now let's try the Stepway off-road. So front-wheel drive car versus off-road. So I know they've raised the ride height, but have they actually reinforced the shock absorbers and the suspension? Because you kind of need that for going off-road. But you know what? It's kind of like the Fiat Panda 4x4, but that thing was actually a 4x4. This is not bad though for front-wheel drive. Heading uphill now, I can see the route on the GPS. That GPS screen might be a little bit small, but what do you expect for such a cheap car? Ooh, okay, over some rocks. How's it going to handle these? Yep, didn't even feel them. Okay, we're nearing the summit, and I've got to say thumbs up from me for the Stepway. Here we go, nearly there. Yeah, I'm loving driving this thing. And we've reached the summit. Let's head down the fun way. Whee! Oh my goodness, into a forest, and yeah, that's a big smash. Let go of the steering wheel. Oh dear. But you can see in extreme circumstances, the crash model is not bad at all. We also have the R2 rally car version of the Dacia Sandero. This has four-wheel drive. It's one of the very few configs which has four-wheel drive. Now, it doesn't have much power, 124 horsepower. We've got a very nice livery on here, these big lights on the front, and a roll cage and bucket seats inside. So just 124 horsepower. We do have a turbocharged engine, though. And here we go. Can we drift it a little bit? Whoa, just a little. Okay, on to the dirt. And I've got to say, this thing drives pretty well, especially for its class. You don't really normally see a hatchback rally car with four-wheel drive. So here we go. Can we drift around the corner? Handbrake into... Oh, we stalled it. Try that again in exterior cam. And... Oh, yes. You know what? You can... Whoa! You can probably get some good four-wheel drifting off-road. I had no idea that Dacia actually did rallying, but I'm guessing this car performed in some kind of WRC or at least some kind of rallying championship. It wasn't a concept. Whoa, we've got actual branding on here like Pirelli. And I think if I was a rally driver and had a bit more skill than I do, oh, I'd be pretty happy with this car. Yeah, does seem to drift around the corners. Good four-wheel drive system. I'm just surprised this even exists. The mod also has hundreds of different service vehicles, things like taxis and ambulance cars. This is a Red Cross vehicle from Italy. I also really like the taxi configs because they have a working light on the roof. This is a Romanian taxi. If I press Alt and T, watch, the light actually changes from green to red. So I guess green means it's free and red means the car is occupied. And then we've got this car over here. I think it's the only UK-style security or police car in the pack, but yeah, University of Leeds security. I actually studied there for a short time, but does this thing have a siren? Let's have a look. Yes, it does. And little LED lights on the dashboard. Wow, and in the grille. Oh, I love this. And if you scroll through the config list, you can see it's absolutely full of service vehicles. Lots of different liveries. Let's stop and have a look at some of them. So we've got the Brazilian Municipal Guard. Oh, yeah. You could find a taxi or police car from your country, I'm certain, as long as you live in Europe or Brazil. We've moved to America now, and the one thing that stands out about the Sandero is the lack of a hot hatch model. Well, don't worry, this pack has one, because in Brazil, they had the Renault Sandero 2-litre RS. This was actually made in association with Renault Sport, and they have made some really cracking cars over the years. The Clio RS, you know, has been a really long-running and sporty hot hatch model. We have a 150 horsepower, 2-litre naturally aspirated straight-4 engine. We also have some sporty gauges. I think they're the same ones from the GT-Line. And look at this RS steering wheel with the red trim down there. Also got some sports seats with the RS logo. They look great. I think they're leather, and they're two-tone leather as well. Okay, let's go. I'd never even heard of this car before I downloaded this mod. And oh my goodness, whoa, the traction control's kicking in quite a lot. Let's turn it off. We've got sport mode. No, let's just turn it off. Whoa, mind out, 2 identical ETKs there. Okay, I'm flooring it. That's got some good power. I mean, it's nowhere near like the speed of a Polo GTI or anything like that, but wow, this is actually really good. Handling-wise, whoa, wow, the steering is really nice. It's very, very taut and stiff suspension, which means we can push it into the corner without any body roll, and it just grips. Come on, Dacia, what are you doing? Imagine if there was a Sandero hot hatch on offer in Europe. Why is it a Brazil-only model? Come on. I think this looks great. The front is a bit weird with the Renault styling there at the front, but the back, look at that wing. Got a sort of a body kit here, twin exhaust. Oh, I love it. And this config really shows why it was important for the mod creators to add all of the Sandero models from around the world, because there's a lot of things you might not know about. If you live in Europe and you do have a Sandero, you would have no idea, unless you looked it up on the internet, that this car had a hot hatch version in Brazil. And it's the same car underneath, just with a different engine, slightly tuned, to give it a bit more performance. Yeah, thumbs up from me, but thumbs down to Dacia. Come on, give us a Sandero hot hatch in the UK. I would even consider getting it as like my next car. Well, I should get a Saab, but you know what I mean. But that's not the only sporty model. We actually have a police car variant of it, although I'm not sure if this is like the Brazilian Army or the police force. Guarda Municipal de... Okay, I can't do that. But yeah, really, really cool they have a police car variant of it. Then we've got this, the number 12 Renault Sport. This is a tribute to Ayrton Senna, the very famous Brazilian race car driver. And apparently in 1986, he did use the number 12, so Renault Sport made this special edition for him. And finally, it's the Formula 1 edition. This is the ultimate version of the RS. And you can see it's actually been modified by the Formula 1 team of Renault, which is incredible. We've got a quad exhaust in here, and this thing has 400 horsepower. It's really been tuned a lot. I'm expecting good things from this, but front-wheel drive, 400 horsepower, sounds like a recipe for disaster. Let's go. Whoa, cutting in a lot there on the traction control. I'm going to turn it off, and here we go. Are we getting any... Whoa, that's a lot of wheel spin in third gear. Okay, first corner. Brakes, very good brakes. Oh, wow, it's grippy. That is incredibly grippy. This is brilliant. I mean, this is more than a hot hatch. This is a super hot hatch. Big corner here. I'm going to go relatively fast. Does it want to tip over with all that grip? You know what it doesn't? It drives well. It really does. Right, let's see what kind of top speed we can get on the long straight. We're in fourth gear, 42.4 PSI from that turbo. That is working overtime. Right, we're in fifth gear now, accelerating up to 155 miles per hour. We've got 6 gears. We're still going. 160 in a Dacia Sandero. What is going on? Brake test. Very good brakes. Amazing Formula 1 style brakes there. We're heading towards the infamous corkscrew corner. How will this car handle it? I wonder if it's going to tip over because of all that grip. Okay, into third gear. Accelerate up. Brake a little bit. Oh, wow. That... Oh! We nearly tipped it over, but until that point, that was one of the best handling hatchbacks I've driven around that corner. I really want to see if we can get this thing to roll over. So here we go. Slow into the corner and then power out. Here we go. Oh, yes! There we go. It is so grippy that we roll over. Wow, sliding along. But believe it or not, this is not the craziest config. With over 1,300 configs, you'd expect there'd be something a little bit crazier. Yes, this is the craziest config in the mod. It's the fiscal van. Basically, it's a Sandero that's been converted into a van. You can see we've got a guard in here, and then in the back, you can see it's a pretty usable van. Okay, just joking. This is not the craziest config because this is the Romanian Express. We have a Romanian flag Sandero with rocket jets on the side. Let's take this onto the highway. Before that though, look inside. We've got a backpack on the passenger seat, a little shopping bag back here. Whoa, and there's even stuff in it. Pringles and Barilla and wow, okay. What's in the trunk? Oh, something on here. Tissues on the parcel shelf and back here. Oh yeah, we got some Heineken. Which reminds me, this mod is compatible with the cargo boxes from career mode. You can put them on the roof. But anyway, let's take this thing onto the highway. So you know what? We're not even going to use the 0.9 litre engine. We're just going to use rocket power. Okay, onto the highway we go. Whoa! This is crazy. Okay, 70 miles per hour already. And onto the highway at 120. Okay, ready? Off we go! That's insane. I can't see where we're going. Oh my! Wow. That, no way. My steering wheel is going crazy, but we have become one with this van. Okay, let's see what the top speed of this thing is. Right, we're heading onto the highway now. You've got to keep it very, very straight and level. You've got to make sure you don't spin out or hit anything. So there you go. 200, 250, 300, 350. We're still going. 400 to 0 in like a split second. And it's unrecognizable as even a car. Right, come around this corner and then we're going to floor it because it goes straight down to the toll booths. That's 380. 400, the tires have burst. Oh, I'm surprised how well this thing handles at high speed. It actually handles a lot better than a lot of the other JATO cars we have in BeamMG already. Okay, round here, don't lose control and then floor it. Yeah. It really handles straight and true. We're still... The hubcaps came off. Oh, wow. That was incredible. I could continue forever reviewing this mod. There's so much to check out, and I hope you enjoy it. This mod is free and on Coffee. I've left a link to both this mod and the realistic traffic pack in the description down below. You really do just spot new things as you're using this car. For example, in the Prestige model, we even have a reversing camera. Unfortunately, it's a little bit broken, but Fastlane and Kaito will update this mod in the future with new features and bug fixes. And what a way to cap off 2024. We're driving one of the most highly anticipated BeamMG mods ever in my final video of the year. I hope you have a great new year and a wonderful 2025. And thank you so much for watching and your support over the last year. I may have to come back to this mod in the future because there's so much to check out and we're definitely going to use this in the future on the channel. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see some more of Fastlane and Kaito's epic mods, click the playlist on screen. It's every single mod review I've done of their mods on the channel. So happy new year and I'll see you in 2025 for some more simulator adventures.